Saint Germain, no one is flawed. I stumbled onto this message in a book that I scratched down really fast, and I believe it's definitely worth a greater look. The message was: inherent in this current system is the tenet that others are flawed, and that you are flawed, therefore you can be hurt by others. Only when you believe in this false system can you be hurt. When you believe that all, including yourself, are perfect, then nobody can be hurt. Today I came across this wonderful message again, and I asked who had channeled it to me because the messenger was anonymous at that time. Turns out it was Saint Germain, so let's ask him to expand upon this. Saint Germain, I ask you then, is expansion of this message actually necessary? Me, no, I get it. But let's look at how we have learned to think incorrectly. STG, I see, then. Let us have some examples, because this is what you do with Ivo. Me, yes. I think we make the messages more clear that way. STG, very good. Shall we make some examples then? Me, okay, we learn duality thinking patterns when we're children. We're born thinking we're wonderful, but our parents want to socialize us, and this is a dualistic, very divisive system that keeps people from really bonding and understanding who they truly are. STG, correct. So your parents taught you to be divisive? Me, yes. They favored one child over the rest. Of course the boys in our family were favored over the girls because I come from a time when women were considered inferior to men, and this was on a broad social basis. It was no secret. Then women started working, and then suddenly, they got some rights. STG, yes, taxpayers' rights. Me, lol, the system favors those who pay into it, and those that don't are frowned upon. STG, this is correct. So you see the flaws that are misconceptions, that to be female makes you less than a male, and when you do not or cannot work you are flawed. Me, yes. Saint G, and what of those who earn more money than those who do not? Me, yes, that haves and the have-nots. Saint G, again, the have-nots are flawed. Your system is rife with these inequities. Me, yes, the inequities of iniquity. STG, very good. And this is the case as well. So then would it be correct to state that your entire structure is based on these inequities? Me, I'd say so. Going forward it won't be, but for now there's still a lot of looking down noses, keeping up with the Joneses, and just plain prejudice. It's encouraged in our children. They get upset when they don't have what the boy at school got for Christmas. They want all the latest stuff, and old toys that are the fads of last year and get thrown in the garbage. Nothing is really valued for what it is, only for what others see it as, and these manufacturers see it as a means of making money. I think people need to start thinking in such a way that respects all, unity consciousness thinking. From the janitor pushing a broom to the drunk in Skid Row, all people on this planet are playing a role now and should be respected. STG, of course, Earth's people tend to respect those who contribute to the system, not understanding that all contribute to the system. Everyone on the planet is a catalyst for change within themselves. Me, I get respect from some people because I am a contributor to the disclosure movement, and help people with their ascension by the messages we give, like this one. I don't like when people put me above them in value, because that's what it really is, because by doing this, they're diminishing themselves. How are you going to ever realize your life's purpose when you keep putting others above you? I'm here to learn from. I've laid my whole life bare for you to understand the lessons that I learned, and I share them with you. But does that make me a star? No, it doesn't. It means I have kahunas and the strength to do it, but it doesn't make me out to be anything more than a message bearer. Saint G, you look at your work with humility. Which is of course the state all must be in to see the merit of the existence of all. When you are in your ego, it is impossible not to want to put others down. Me, I've been described as too good to be true. Well, then if that's what I am, what are you to describe me as such? I hear, I'm never going to try to change, that's one thing I hear. I hear resistance to self-improvement, and people are very adept at doing that. I hear it all the time. Loads of excuses. But you're not me, you're you, and so you can never be me. There are people who walk a similar path to mine, which is re-empowerment of the divine feminine, and there are others who don't. It's all cool. Your being nasty towards me only shows your fear. Saint G, and this is indicative of the vibration of this system of thought. Me, true. Yes. So in order to believe that no one is flawed, we have to really change our thinking. We have to become humble and believe that everyone has a right to be on this planet right now. We have to see all with humility. We're all playing a role in it. That's one thing. What else? Saint G, I would say to look for your patterns. Look for things within you that you feel make you less than another person and eliminate the thoughts that concur with it. If you hear them, then simply say, I hear you and I will not believe you. Me, oh good. Yes, telling your thoughts you don't believe them is very powerful. STG, this is how I achieved mastery. I implanted the thoughts of God over the ones I had learned to think upon earth. Me, which was how many thousands of years ago. STG, yes, I found my way through when I was still in the infancy of my soul. I incarnated over and over again to continue to hold the light and the message of humanity for the people of earth. Because the message of humanity would become buried in their greed and jealousy towards each other, eventually. We held the light, we held a candle of violet flame and incarnated over and over and over to continue to steer humanity to the point it is at today, one where a choice can be made. Because earlier, there were no choices to be made. For the last few thousand years the minds of the earthling have been a prison and now the cages are being unlocked to allow the birds to fly free. Me, lovely. Yes. STG, it took much work, much faith, and much being in the right place at the precise time. Me, I heard you are good with that. LOL. STG, I parleyed with queens, knights, the divine incarnated on earth. I tickled the fancy of many a mind upon earth to seek out greater knowledge. I worked to repress the darkness, as did your friends El Maria and Kuthumi. We all worked to suppress the darkness and to keep the candle of light lit for humanity. Me, you guys always make me cry. STG, yes, the truth brings tears to the eye. Now you have a choice, continue to see life as flawed or begin to see it as perfect. Continue to see people as flawed or begin to see them as perfect. Continue to be hurt or continue on in happiness. There is so much choice to be had at this point in time. You would be staggered to see the energies of influence now. So much choice. Make your choice. Do you see others as flawed or as souls who are learning? Do you choose to condemn them or to forgive them? Do you choose to strike out at them or smile and understand what they are enduring within their heart? It is up to you. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Just do it for a short time and build upon the last day. It will come easier the more you practice. Me. Like next time you have Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner and you have that one relative that just irks you whenever they open their mouths. I remember for me it was my father. He embarrassed me every time we had company. I didn't want to be associated with him, yet I was his daughter. STG, aha. Me, my brother's Christian in-laws would listen to my father and just nod their heads. He didn't bother them. They simply just listened and gave him the ear he wanted. I was the one who looked like the ogre for trying to change him. Now I look back and I know if that were me now, I would do it differently. I might have to take a break now and then from him because he could be overwhelming, especially when he had an audience, but I wouldn't assault him verbally for what he was saying. They were a good example for me to see. They've always been like that, and he is forever grateful for me for suggesting he read a book about bad backs, because he read the book, put into practice what this man said and he's never had a back problem again. Tells me he has some higher energies he's using. STG, yes. So you learned. Me, I did. Attacking people because you think they're flawed just isn't worth it. It's harder with your parents because you always wish they would be the people who you could respect and be proud of, but frankly I learned this lesson too. Sometimes the parents you couldn't feel that way about had more to teach you than the ones you would have wanted. STG, aha. Another life lesson learned. Me, would I have wanted other parents? Yes, probably, but without having endured what they did to me, I wouldn't be who I am now. I wouldn't have walked this path. I needed them to help wake me up and they needed me because I cleared out their bloodlines of a lot of bad energy. STG, so wise. You understand life. Me, Ivo taught us all. It's metaphysics and it just goes to show there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. STG, indeed. So you say, you would not have learned these lessons without parents like yours, so now you have a reason to be grateful for them, and to have compassion for their plight. Me, yes. I still can't figure out why people who have such severe issues would have children, because I didn't. I knew I would only be harming another generation, so I didn't have children. STG, you sensed it was your task to heal yourself and you sacrificed a normal life on Earth in order to do so. Me, yes, I guess you could say that. STG, you are the queen of understatement. Me, maybe, at times. I think what people have to do is take the 3 people who have treated them the worst and they can't stand, and look at what they've taught them and how they've turned out better because of what these people did to them. I have a long list, starting with my parents and still just people who I kicked off my FB page this past week I could add to it. People who need healing believe that they need someone nice to help them, but it's really up to yourself. I'm glad I have Ivo because he's a gem and he's been there for me for the last 6 years. He gives me the love I looked for here on earth but couldn't find. STG, and you can appreciate him more because you learned through all those people who could not love you. Me, yes. STG, you are wise, indeed, Sharon. Me, thank you. STG, all is for learning. All people are here to help Earth to ascend. It is a perfect plan being executed perfectly. In God's world, nothing else can be. Me, thank you, Saint Germain. STG, I bid you adieu.